Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Jason. Thank you so much for all your support. Man, you don't know how much that means to me. Man, I just want to say thank you so much. That really keeps me going. It gives me the motivation to do this. You know, I really hope doing this, you guys can take something away from this. Hopefully it enables, hopefully it helps you to help yourself, help loved ones, just helps you in general. Whether it's with the disease of addiction, drugs in general, or just something in general, whether it's with situations or whatever. But I just want to say thank you. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go along. I'm going to tell my story, and I'm going to have somebody kind of interview me. I'm going to have them throw questions out, and I'm gonna answer them to the best of my knowledge. I'm going to involve feelings. I'm going to try and think back and think back of what I was feeling at the time, what I was thinking at the time. It's going to be a little hard for me to think back way back when I was a little kid, when I was in middle school, obviously when I was in high school, because my drug use was a little heavy then. I mean, it was a little heavy all along, but I'm gonna do the best for you. So bear with me. Obviously, this is a new endeavor for me, and I'm doing the best that I can. So I'm gonna start off by talking about what the disease of addiction is to me. The disease makes me an addict, not the drugs. The drugs are basically just a symptom. It's not my behavior, but it's the disease. There's something inside of me that makes me uncontrollable, and that's something that makes me prone to obsession and compulsion, and that applies in other areas of my life. Basically, so when can I tell when my disease is active? First off, I'll be honest with you, there's a little voice in my head, and I can hear it, and it talks to me. It says, hey man, let's go grab a bag. We can do this. We don't have to tell anybody. We can get away with it. We can just dabble a little. But I get trapped. I get trapped in obsessive, compulsive, self-centered routines. And basically that leads to physical, mental, emotional, and financial bankruptcy, along with spiritual. So keep that in mind as you follow along with this, when I tell you this story. So with that being said, let's get started. So growing up, my story is probably like most. I had loving parents, very loving parents. I was the firstborn. I had loving grandparents, both sides, great family. Now when I was growing up, I was the type of child that when I was told I couldn't have something, I snuck it. I would basically when my mom or dad told me I couldn't have a cookie, I would sneaky take that cookie. I had that type of behavior, I was like, hey, if I can't have something, I'll take it. I try and think back a little bit more on my childhood, but anyway.
Let's start. Can we start with some questions?
Yeah.
All right. Do you remember how old you were when you first witnessed use?
Yes. Basically, the first time I witnessed use was when I went to a bar with my grandparents. I mean, I'm sure I witnessed use before, a little bit before that. Obviously, parents drinking, family members drinking. But when I was in a controlled environment at a bar with my grandparents. You know, I always went to bars when I was younger, which is unacceptable, in my opinion. You know, obviously when I was younger, you could smoke in bars. You know, that's not healthy, you know, being at that age. There's a lot of swearing going on, and just seeing that, you know. Not only that, but then after being at the bars at that age, you know, you hop in a car with those family members or those people that you look up to, and you see them drinking and driving. You know, so which instilled in me that was acceptable. You know, but I know that they obviously didn't think that would lead to anything later on in life. So going forward a little bit, I got involved in sports. And I was probably at the age of 9, 10. You know, I was a very good baseball player. I ended up getting kicked out of the baseball league for getting in a fight with the umpire.
So what was the first mind-altering substance you ever used as far as alcohol, tobacco, or drugs?
Well, the first thing I ever used was a cigarette. You know, and the reason why I used that was because it made me feel grown up. I remember that day. The girl had him. She got him from her parents, and she busted him out. There really wasn't no peer pressure. It was just she had him there, and I was like, cool. You know, I was actually kind of curious, and then and then I tried it, and then I felt big. I felt grown up. But anyway, getting back to kind of getting kicked out of the league of baseball, I lost all those friends. And I went to a private school, going over to a public school. That was a big transition for me. And, you know, I felt like, well, I didn't have any friends then because I lost all those friends. Going over to a public school, I didn't know anybody. So I did whatever the hell I could to impress people. And basically what it was is I didn't know how to meet friends. I didn't know how to meet people. And you know, it was very, very uncomfortable for me.
Would you say that was traumatic for you looking back? Was it actually traumatic?
Yeah, man, you know.
Did it greatly affected you?
Yeah, you know, because it was uncomfortable, you know, and it just, yeah, it was uncomfortable, you know. I didn't know what to do. I mean, I wasn't involved in sports really in middle school. I was always getting into trouble, and then I ended up, my first time drinking was in middle school. I basically hung around with kids in the neighborhood, and they weren't the best crowd. Granted, I do still have some of those friends today, and they are very supportive of what I am doing now. But I remember the first time that I did drink. It was at a park in the neighborhood, and you know, we got together. There's probably, you know, maybe 10 of us, whatever, a couple girls, and we had some booze, maybe Mad Dog, whatever it was. And
do you recall where you guys got it from?
Yes. One of the girls' brothers bought it for us. So, I mean, that's important to obviously pay attention to who your kids run with. But, well, we got 1 minute left. Alright. So, we'll cut it here. And, because I can only make these videos so long. And, we'll pick it back up after what I'm talking about at the park. But, hopefully you keep watching. And we'll pick it up at the next video. Thank you.